sports mode activated. Hey friend. So it is Monday. It is the day of the eclipse. And it's a beautiful day, so I'm gonna come out here and I have a couple of projects to do. I'm gonna try to stay on task. First thing, I'm going to trench out around my 2 trees that I have mulch and then put mulch down. The second thing that I'm going to do is I have pavers that need to be dug up and sand put down. And then I have a couple of plants that came from my mom. Where they're planted, they should have grown. And they're getting smaller and smaller, so they're not happy where they're at. I don't want them to die. I did keep seeds from them, and I did try to start some indoors, but they haven't popped up. And I did also plant some in hopes that they will come up this season. They didn't. So I'm going to move those plants today. And then I have some Asiatic lilies that are in a pot that have like tripled in the amount. And then I have some in another pot that really aren't coming up. So I'm going to split them up. So I'm going to repot those. I may or may not do a voiceover. When I am talking in my regular voice, as you hear it, you know, it's kind of low. I do a lot of inflections, and it's just my comfort voice. I do have the business voice, and it could probably be called the YouTube voice that I've had for about 20 years when I was in my work life, and that's exhausting to keep up. And for a whole video talking like this, hey friends, how are you doing? Okay, today we're going to do this. Yeah, I can't. But I'm just going to get started and we'll see how it goes. Also, I want to add that the springtime and the fall time are the best times to transfer your plants because it's going to be less stress on them as far as when they're trying to take. Because if you're trying to do it in the middle of the summer when it's super hot, it's going to stress the plant out and they may die. I mean, you're going to have to keep watering and watering and watering it. And right now it's also spring, so it's raining. That's why usually also you see the tree trimmers out when it's cold in the early spring, in the late fall, because that's when you're going to put less stress on the plants. I also have some more areas that's needs mulches by my gate. That's where I have hostas, but I'm gonna worry about that later. I'm gonna move on to the next tree. So I'm ticked. It stopped recording and it didn't show me putting the mulch down. But it is what it is. Alright then, you gonna catch me? You gonna follow me? You gonna follow me? You gonna follow me? You got me? Got me? Alright. You got me? Do I need to back you up? And I don't know if I said it, but one of the reasons why I'm getting up all the dirt is because over time, the wood chips that you use, it breaks down into organic materials and it creates a lot of dirt. So I'm trying to get the excess dirt up. And then when you lay mulch, you don't want to go too high up on your tree. That can cause your tree to get disease because the trunk is not able to breathe and it could die. So if you have landscapers that mulch for you and they're putting mulch all the way up here, you need to go and cut down some of that, take some of that off, or tell them not to do that because you're basically suffocating your tree. I try to keep the mulch down by the root line just so the roots can be covered. Because, yeah, mulch is there to help it look nice, your landscape look nice, but one of the things that I feel is more important is there to help retain moisture. If you just have dirt, the dirt will dry out. You will have moisture under a certain level. Mulch, rock, things of that nature, it just helps to keep more moisture where the tree needs it. And where the tree needs it is around this. People think tree roots are super deep in the ground, and they're not. They're actually very superficial, and that's why when it's a very windy day, if it's an old tree or there's a lot of erosion in your ground and the roots really have nothing to hold on to, that's why a tree could just topple over. And so I can see I have roots going around. When the roots start to spread, I used to put dirt on top of it to try to give it a layer, because my grass actually dips down right here, and so when it rains a lot, it's a lot of water, but I know this tree loves it. But if your grass is dying, more than likely it's because the grass is competing with your tree roots, and the tree is winning. It's a little helpful, I found, whether it's true or not, to have this good dividing border where I don't have to worry about the grass competing. And all my trees have some type of border as far as landscaping where it doesn't have to compete with grass. It might have to compete with some plants, but their roots are fairly superficial as well. I'm going to move all this stuff over. And the next thing I'm going to do, come on, find me, find me, is dig up these plants and try to move them to a new location. Not perfect, but it's neat. Better than what it was. Again, not perfect, but neat and better than what it was. Better project are these 2 sedum plants right here. These were given to me by my mom. I have a couple of them up front, and all of them pretty much seem to be struggling because this is their I want to say the 3rd year here, and by now they should have been like 3 times this size, and they look like little babies. I had hostas, however you want to say it, all around the tree, but when you have other children that want to play in your yard and they run all over them, and they died and they never came back. It is what it is. And this is the pot where I have the Asiatic lilies growing, and they're just in abundance. And so I'm going to dig them up before they really get too mature and move them to the other pots that I have over there. They're a different variety in those 2 pots, but they didn't really come back that great this year. And I know even if I get them out of this pot, it'll come back. So I'm going to start digging this up. The location that they're going to is going to be in this spot that I kind of cleared to remind me. Now here, let's see, here and right there, I have hostas that come up, and it's a little early, they haven't come up yet. I don't know what this plant is that's growing. Like in here, I have them over. First I thought it was the ivy that I had growing out of this pot because they did stretch out and go down, and it doesn't look like that ivy is coming back, but you can still see like 2 little sprigs of lilies that want to come up. And then here, my neighbor from across the street, he gave me irises. They're purple. I can't wait till they come up. Beautiful. Ivy. This ivy looks like it's trying to come back, but I see no signs of life as far as the Asiatic lilies that I have planted in this planter. So I'm going to try. And then I have tulips. My friend gave me these. And now this is a sedum, like the ones I'm about to move. It did grow better, but it should have been bigger than that. Like, it really should have been bigger than that. I had planted wildflowers here last year, and I do not like the way they look when they come up. So those are going to get dug up. And there's one. They spread a little bit, like one little sprig right there. And then I don't know what that is, but I'm leaving it. I hope it does something. And then I have mums here that I planted a few years ago that seem to be doing well coming up, and I have some miscellaneous ground cover. And I have some daylilies right there that came from my mom, and these 2 bushes. I call them Mexican bushes because my friend's dad got them at a flea market, and it was a Mexican flea market, and his dad asked the guy, well, what kind of plants are these? And they told him Mexican bushes, and that's not what they're called. I forgot what they're called. I'll look it up and probably put the name. But they're very prolific. Like, they come back. That one all the way in the corner is usually 10 times that size by the end of summer, and I cut all of my plants that I have like this back to the nubbins every year, every winter, and they come back no problem. reason it stopped recording while I was planting that plant. And but I'll show you. I put it in there. I packed some of the dirt back around it, and I loosely packed the rocks back around it. I don't know if it's the rocks that was keeping it from growing back year after year, bigger and bigger, but it hasn't been a problem with any of my other plants. Just with this one, like my hostas have rocks, but they come back year after year, bigger and bigger. So I don't know what the deal is. But little baby, you need to be happy and you need to grow. This is your new home. Got it, bub? And I'm not going to plant anything else here. I'm just going to let it be a rock bed, basically. I'm going to start digging up some of these Asiatic lilies and moving some of them to the other pots. I found grubs. What I put down should have killed the grubs. I had put down some insect pellet and it should have killed it. So I have this. I use this usually for ants. Diatomaceous earth. Maybe it'll help for the grubs. And this diatomaceous earth is all natural. People use it in organic farming to kill the ants. It's made with, I think it was pulverized type shellfish or something like that. So it works wonders on ants. Basically what happens is when you pour it on them, it suffocates them, and then it also like cuts through them, so it may not be the most humane, but it works. Today was a long day. It was a tiring day. But I did basically everything I wanted to do. I dug up the pavers. I put down diatomaceous earth because of the bugs that was in there. If I saw worms, I tried to move them out the way. But I did see quite a few grubs in there, which isn't cool because that's probably why my grass looks the way it does. And grubs turn into, we call them June bugs, or I do. They're big bugs, so. But they eat the roots in your grass, and they can tear up your grass, and skunks and voles like to eat them, so they'll tear up your grass that way too. And that could be a reason why my plants weren't doing too well in that area, because there's grubs there. I did treat the grass a couple of weeks ago for grubs, but I see that didn't do anything. I ran out of sand for the pavers, so I used dirt and rocks that I had there. It's just so it could be even. But I will go back to the store and get some sand to fix that. I think that's about it. But it was just a very trying recording day. The gimbal that I got from TikTok, let me tell you, for right now, for recording outdoors, 0 out of 10. I don't recommend. It starts focusing on the trees and things, and then it all of a sudden will shut off. And I'm just so caught up in working, I didn't even notice that it wasn't pointed at me anymore. But it's supposed to follow me around. It's supposed to make my life easier. It doesn't seem like it's doing that. It was just bleh. If I have the energy, which I probably will, it's gonna be take 2 tomorrow. Like I said, I'm gonna go out in the back, and you're gonna see where my home garden is, and I'm gonna start moving plants outside. We don't have frost, at least for the next 10 days. I'm gonna put out the cool weather plants, so before it gets hot, I can get some peas and some beans and plant my collard greens and cabbage and get all that ready outside. So that will be part 2, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.